Welcome back guys, Alex here with another video. Now as promised, this week I'm going on the road and I'm going to visit a very special friend of mine, my good friend Mr. Tony Temple, who's actually the world champion at the classic arcade game Missile Command. So I'm very excited about this. He's got a really cool setup, he's got other games as well, so I'd be interested just to go there, hang out, play some other games, get a feel of the history and how he came about them all, and maybe learn some tricks about how to play Missile Command, because it's not an easy one to play. So without further ado guys, let's get on the road and go and visit the man himself, Mr. Tony Temple. I've just stopped off for a cheeky little snack at the service station. There's a Marks and Spencer's here, so I had to grab some of these teriyaki chickens. Absolutely awesome. There's a little bit of sauce there, a bit of chicken on a stick. So you just dip them in the old sauce and they taste absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. And I could not resist my Ploughman's Pickle Pork Pies. So 4 little mini pork pies with pickle on top. Can't beat it. I'll show you one on the way back. Anyway, got to get back on the road. See you in a bit, guys. Alright, I can see where it is. Here we are. Right, just in here, I think it is. Right, here we are guys, this is Tony Temple and his arcade. How you doing, Tony?
Oh, you caught me by surprise, I didn't even realize you were starting. Yeah, I'm good.
That's alright mate, I'm just so excited to be here mate. You've got a fantastic collection just spanning around here. You've got an Asteroids, Tempest, Centipede. And what's this little one here?
Oh, that used to be a Sega Dinosaur King, which came to me completely gutted, just had a monitor in it. So, got it stripped out, got some artwork done, courtesy of Muddy Music on UK VAC.
He does a great job, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's just running main.
Yeah, and this is your loft conversion, isn't it? You did last year.
This is, yeah, we wanted a bit more space and kind of my cats were sort of scattered around the house, so we got the loft converted and one half's an office and the other half, as you can see, is my games room.
Yeah, I love the artwork. Fantastic, mate, isn't it? So you've got a poster up there, Missile Command.
Yep.
Is that an original poster?
No, I think it's a repro.
Just actually. A repro?
Yeah.
There was a guy selling some original arcade art at the London market on Sunday. Some really cool stuff. It goes for so much money.
Yeah.
But I'd love some of this original stuff, would be cool. And you've got a Donkey Kong 2. So this is an original Donkey Kong cabinet, but you convert it into a Donkey Kong 2.
Yeah, was it a Mario Bros? I can't remember what it was, but I had 2, as you know, because you had the other one, and it was battered. There was nothing in it, just a monitor, not a lot else. And I was obviously conscious that many people were converting things back to the original Donkey Kong game, and I just wanted to do something a bit different.
Yeah. So this was a kit you got from America then, was it?
That's right. It was a kit from this old game, together with a PCB kit which plugs into an original Donkey Kong board, and it's all bespoke artwork. And as you can see, the colour is a slightly darker blue to the usual. It's called Sapphire Blue from Home Depot, which I got mixed when I had a trip over there.
And has anyone else done it in that colour as well, DK2?
Yeah, that's the colour apparently.
Yeah.
So it's the proper one.
That's fantastic, mate.
As far as I know, it's the only one in Europe. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but
so your score on there at the moment is 176,000. That's Donkey Kong's score, yeah?
That's Donkey Kong, yeah. You can switch between the two games by holding the two start buttons, and then you press jump, and it will switch over to Donkey Kong 2.
Right, and how do you find Donkey Kong 2? Because I haven't actually played it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's very tough. It's a totally different game. But I mean, what they've done, which is quite nice, is it mixes up the original Donkey Kong screens with the new ones, which have been written. But I must admit, I'm usually playing Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's why I've been a bit reluctant to get into it, because every time I play Donkey Kong, I just feel I'm still not good enough. I just want to keep going back to that and getting better scores. So having a DK2 is just another distraction, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, it's still looking very cool to me. It's very different, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and you've got your little, these little Lego things up here?
Yeah, the little, the characters from the film Pixels.
Pixels, that's right.
So
I enjoyed that film. It got knocked, didn't it? A lot of people didn't like it.
I thought it was all right.
I thought it was all right. It was a bit of fun.
For what it was,
Yeah. Me and my son liked it, and here is, because I don't know if you know, guys, Tony Temple is the world champion at Missile Command, of course, and this is his certificates up here from the Guinness World of Records. You've got 2 here, haven't you?
No,
it's just the one.
Yeah, just the one on the left.
So tell us a little bit about this then, Tony. When did you get your world record?
Yeah, okay, so I got the record on the 9th of March 2006. Blimey, 10 years ago now.
10 years ago.
So that was 1.9 million, and when I got it in 2007, it was just when Twin Galaxies revisited its relationship with Guinness, and they were keen to print my score, because obviously being from the UK and what with Guinness being
a UK thing, isn't it?
A UK company. And they very kindly sent me a certificate, so that's why it's all framed. It looks
awesome, mate. Yeah.
And up on the wall. But subsequently, I increased my score twice. Once up to 2.4 million, and then in 2010 up to 4.4 million.
So the world record was held by.
Yeah, it was held by a guy called Roy Schilt.
Since 1984, was it?
Yeah, 84. He got the record. So it was a 20-year-old record or so.
And you smashed that in 2000.
Yeah, beat it in 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good going. But this has always been a favourite game of yours, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has,
from a kid, this is something you just.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's funny. It just happened to be the game in my local cafe. So I mean, arguably, it could have been anything.
Well, this is it here, guys. This is his.
Happened to be Missile Command.
Missile Command, and this used to be Archie McLean's cab. Is that right?
Yeah. So my first foray into the world of arcade cabs was a Defender, and I desperately needed a new monitor. And I can't remember who, but someone put me in touch with Archer as a guy you should talk to about monitors back then. So this would have been sort of 2004 or so. And I went to see Archer. I went to his house, and of course, as you know, many of your viewers will know, Archer at that time had a vast collection of cabs, and he took me down into his basement and showed me what he had.
I'd love to have seen his arcade back then. I bet it was amazing.
Oh, it was, it was quite something.
And he was well into his restorations back then as well, wasn't he? Because I remember some of the early retro gamers when they used to do the restoration.
That's right.
Pages. He was. Featured quite a lot, wasn't
That's
he?
That's right, yeah. And he took me around a corner, and he showed me this, and when I first saw it, it had concrete splashes on it. The board was rusted solid. It was a complete mess, and I nearly had a heart attack because I hadn't seen a Missile Command since I was 15 or so.
But it's funny you latched onto this game, because I mean I remember it as a kid. What's this? 1980.
Yep.
So I would have been. I'm 45 now. Since yesterday, so I would have been 9, something like that. back in the day. And it wasn't a game, I don't know, it didn't have any cutesy graphics. It kind of looked a little bit too serious, which it is really. I mean, it's quite sinister when you think about the what the gameplay is all about, defending from sort of a world war, isn't it? World War Three, isn't it supposed to be?
Yeah, it's sort of based on nuclear thermo.
Yeah, it's a bit too serious, isn't it? You know, when you look at Donkey Kong, it's its colour.
It has a reputation of being a very hard game, and sort of one of the first mainstream games to have a trackball and 3 fire buttons, and I think when it appeared, it's kind of like Defender. It sort of blew people's minds a bit.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. I don't know, maybe it's just the way I was as a kid. That's what drew me to it. It was the fact that no one else was really sort of playing it. And they were good.
Did any of your mates play it? Was it just you, your lonely self in the calf?
It was. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, it was.
No, but when I was playing,
me, but next to it, I remember there was a Buck Rogers and a Nitsubishu Mooncrester and a Gorgar pinball, and they had a Frogger cocktail. And everyone was sort of giving Missile Command a bit of a wide berth and were playing the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was the, 14-year-old, whiz kid, I suppose, who just sort of stuck with it. And pretty quickly it was, it became my favourite, my go-to game. So.
I mean, I used to have a mate who used to go around with the two of us, used to just play each game in turn, and compete against each other.
Right.
But obviously you found something in this, you were quite happy to play it on your own.
Yeah,
and just get better and better at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been a challenge, and even now, 35 years later, it's still a big challenge.
Does it still draw you in?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, sweaty palms and the adrenaline goes, and it's probably the only video game, and any video game, arcade or console or any which still appeals to me when you get in the zone and you get in there and things start getting hairy and difficult. And I think it's probably because there are no patterns to learn.
Every game's different.
Every game is totally different.
That makes for a good game, doesn't it? I think
the way the missiles appear is completely random in every single game. Now I suppose it's like football, so you can learn some skills.
Yes.
And you know how to deal with certain situations. Kind of like driving a car, where you fundamentally know how to drive a car, but if you point your car in a direction and just keep going, you're going to see new things. You're going to see different junctions and faster traffic, or
something runs out in front of you,
coming towards you, or a kid running out in the street, and you've got to put the brakes on to sort of stop. And I think Missile Command's very, very similar. Once you've kind of honed down those basic skills and a sort of understanding of what you need to do in certain situations, it's always new, and I think that's probably psychologically what keeps me drawn to the game and sort of keeps it fresh.
So was this Atari's first trackball game, would you say?
No, Atari's first trackball game was Atari Football.
Atari Football, I don't know that one.
Which interesting. It's sort of one of those tall cocktail cabs where you stand on either side.
Right.
And it's an American football game, and you I must admit I haven't played it, but there's a kick button, I guess, and a trackball, and you're on either side.
Right, black and white, quite basic.
Black and white, yeah. And interestingly, Dave Toyer, the guy who wrote Missile Command, that was the first game he worked on. Right. Atari Football. So
and was it similar size trackballs?
Exactly the same.
Yeah. So that's a 4-inch trackball. Is that right?
Yeah. 4
yeah.
Inches, yeah.
So they did a cocktail version of this. And they did a cockpit version of this. Is that right? So 3 different versions.
4 different versions. There's a cabaret as well.
Cabaret as well.
Yeah, which is the same shape as the
same as the asteroid. So that's a cabaret, guys. That's a lot smaller than the upright. And the cockpit is a growl cab for you, would you say?
Yeah.
If you could find one.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'd never get it up here, but
no.
If I had the space, yeah, it would be great. It's.
Have you played in one?
I have, yeah. I've played in a couple. One of the things about the cockpit which is different is the control panel has a lip which goes up, and it's about here. And what I found when I've been playing is as your fingers hit it, and it's kind of you have to completely adjust the way you play. But yeah, it's a big enclosed game. It's got a 25-inch monitor, which is behind your head, which is sort of projected down onto a mirror. There's this big subwoofer under your arse, underneath the seat, and it's big, loud, boomy sound. It's it just screams 80s excess.
They made a lot of those cockpits for the early games, didn't they? They did one with radar scope, and I can imagine that in a cockpit would actually be a totally different experience, because I find radar scope quite a boring game, but you know, when you're in a cockpit with the sound booming out either side, quite immersive, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not many of those around. I mean, they reckon they built 100, and as you can imagine, once Missile Command sort of had run its shelf life,
smashed them up.
What are you going to do with a Missile Command cockpit? There aren't many things you can do with it.
So have they got one in Fun Spot?
There was one in Fun Spot for a while where it belonged to a guy who didn't have space, and they agreed to take it on. But as I understand it, it got sold last year, so I think it sort of moved on elsewhere.
And was there a different design for this upright? Wasn't there a concept design like you've got here? This is a lovely painting that my good friend Al, Pac-Man, was it? Did he paint this, or was it?
It was his other half.
His partner at the time. That's right.
Very kindly did that for me. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this, then, Tony.
Yeah.
What's different?
The original game. You can see the sort of main difference, and if you go on Google, you can find obviously a real picture of what the cab looked like, but it had this big attract panel at the top, and rather than just being a random panel with a bunch of lights on it, it actually gave you information about what was going on the screen. So one I think was called sort of proximity alert, and it would the further down the missiles came on the screen, you would have these lights sort of getting more urgent to sort of tell you actually
it's a lot to take in for a kid then, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well this is it, and there was other lights which came on. So if you're familiar with Missile Command, when you get low on missiles, there's an audible alarm which goes off, a sort of 3-burst alarm. But on this version of the cab, a light came on. And during playtesting, what they found was people were obviously trying to play the game, but as things got more frantic, they were looking up at these lights, trying to get the information, taking their eyes off the screen, and it just meant the game was unplayable. Right.
So were any of these actually made?
Yeah, I think they must have made 2 or 3 of them, because they were actually out play-tested, as I understand it. So in the end, they basically tore all that out. And you can, if you look at an original Missile Command PCB, you can see the areas where
there's another pin out for it or something.
Whatever the functionality was to operate the lights, it's just been cleared off. So there's actually a blank space in the middle of a Missile Command board, which
is
interesting,
isn't it?
So they ended up taking that off, as you can see on the cab, and it ended up
a lot shorter,
looking like that.
Yeah.
I'm aware of one of those.
Yeah.
And I'm
trying to get it.
I'm not at liberty to say where it is, but suffice to say it's not in England. Sadly, but hopefully one day I'll at the very least get to see it and
just play it,
for a bit. So I mean it'd be just fabulous to just play one of those purely for the the
experience.
Experience,
definitely. It's your game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant, mate.
Yeah, so
really, really nice.
That's what it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially.
Yeah, I mean, I like the controls. It is unusual. I mean, I've got that Sheriff, and that's just as unusual with its weird control mechanism. But you do get used to it after a while, I think. You've got 3 buttons here, and these fire off from the different bases. Is that right?
Yeah, so you've got 3 bases holding your missiles. You've got Alpha base, Delta base, and Omega base, and they are fired off with those 3 buttons, and the trackball moves a crosshair around the screen for you to aim where your missiles go. Thing to remember about a trackball is it's it kind of looks like a scary thing and how on earth do I do it, but it's just an early mouse. So
I'm sure I remember as a kid getting my skin caught in there.
Yes, that was quite a common. Yeah, you're right. God,
I think that's why it put me off.
Hands used to get beat up.
Yeah.
Like anything, but it's just a very early analog controller.
Is there different settings you can set the cursor at with that?
Yeah, depending on the game, depending on which version of the machine you're playing, there is a dip setting on there for moving a larger trackball or indeed a smaller trackball. It's been the subject of much argument amongst classic players, and it basically got to the point where if you look at all of the manuals, it's very ambiguous.
Yes.
There are 3 versions of the manual. They all say 3 different things. They then tried to correct it by releasing an official addendum to the schematics. But then arguably, if you look at the change they made, and this is an official Atari release and we want to make a statement about the trackball speed, it's still wrong, or arguably it's still wrong. So even when they were trying to correct the issue as they saw it, they were still getting it wrong. And Twin Galaxies came to the conclusion that there were so many cabs out there. From a world record point of view, they've never tracked that switch setting.
I suppose they never really thought anyone was actually going to go for a world record back then, did they?
Well,
did they really think to take it as that seriously?
Yeah, indeed.
Did they?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a money grabbing thing back in the day.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is the point. I mean, you would rock up to a Missile Command, you would put a coin in, and you'd start playing. And some of the trackballs were slow, some were stiff, some had never been oiled.
Some had beer stains in.
Some were super fast, some were really slow. No one stopped to think, I think this is on the wrong dip switch. So you just sat down and played it. And because it was never monitored, the decision that Twin Galaxies came to was that it's up to you. If you want to have that switch on, which makes the trackball slightly slower, then you can do that. If you want to switch it off and make it slightly quicker, then you can do that.
Yeah, I think the point is if someone's saying that the way you're playing is easier, then why don't they play that version too?
Well, there is that. Yeah. I mean, it's what constitutes easier.
Yeah.
If a trackball is moving faster than another trackball, it's not necessarily easier because you've got to be more precise. You've got to, you have to. And for me, I can sit in front of any Missile Command cab on the same setting. So this is on the off setting, which I usually play on, and I'm familiar with the speed of my trackball. If I go to somewhere like Fun Spot or indeed Arcade Club up in Bury, where we were last night. And you sit down and you go, the switch's off, but this trackball's a good 10% faster than mine. Yeah. And if you watch me play, you'll notice I'm missing a load of stuff because I'm trying to get used to the fact that whereas on this cab I'd go like that to move it a certain distance, if I do the same thing on a faster trackball,
go right across the screen.
It goes right across the screen. Yeah. So you have to, you mentally, you just have to
get used to it.
You just have to adjust. No 2 trackballs are alike because within these trackballs are rollers, and the rollers get worn.
So are you allowed to take? So if you used to do a world record at Fun Spot, say, are you allowed to take your own trackball along and put it in the machine? Will they open it up and do that for you?
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
Do they? Because they do it with joysticks, don't they? With some games.
Yeah, I know John Stoodley, who's a great Pac-Man player. He has taken his own control panel to events where he's been going for a world record, and he's plugged his own control panel in. So there's no reason why you couldn't do that. I'm not quite sure I want to let this all over the world and get it through customs and what have you. But there would be nothing stopping you from doing that.
Well, okay, so what we're going to do now in Tony, we're going to have you've got to show us how you play this game, and maybe we can learn a few tricks and tips off you, hopefully.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just going to cut to that. We'll set up a tripod. Right, here we are. It's Tony Temple playing Missile Command. Here we go with me.
So, this is Missile Command. Hopefully you can see what's going on. We're in a state of war. Across the bottom are 6 cities. Those are the blue cities you can see here. And I've just lost the base. And our 3 missile bases: Alpha Base, Delta Base, and Omega Base. The object of the game is to move this crosshair around with a trackball and fire your missiles up to intercept the offensive missiles which are coming down. And the purpose of the game is simply to protect your cities, which is a key thing, really. One of the key themes of the game is that it isn't about just destroying everything. It's actually the fundamental rule of the game is protection.
Which is quite unusual for its time, because most people were shooting pixels around that time, weren't they?
Right, absolutely.
Defending.
Shooting bad aliens and stuff. Yeah. But there's no reference made to who the enemy is. Who's actually sending these missiles down, and clearly the interpretation is the Cold War. It's the
Yeah.
Russians, and you're protecting American cities. And so you can see I'm shooting up these sort of clouds of explosions, and I'm intercepting the missiles.
So how many missiles you get per base? Is there a certain amount?
Yeah, you get 10 per base, and the ones which you don't use at the end of every screen, you receive some bonuses for.
Right.
And as you start going through the game, you can start seeing the missiles are coming down a lot faster than they were previously.
So you're going to try and take out a few in one shot, I guess, are you? Is that the...
Yeah, so a good tactic when you're starting out on Missile Command is to spray a wall of missiles, which I'll show you now. So this is how a lot of people play Missile Command. They'll go like this, and they'll put a big long wall. There you go. We'll sneak through.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It works, but what you find is if you miss something or something gets through your wall, then you're in panic mode because it's all got down lower. So we're now coming onto the coloured screens. So what I try, my sort of fundamental tactic on Missile Command is to look for areas where the missiles are converging together. Mm-hmm. So I can preserve my missiles. So you've only got 30 of them. So
do you have as many missiles on the screen at once as you like?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because like Space Marine, there's only one shot per missile, isn't there? On the screen
exactly.
At one time.
Oh, well, we're in trouble here. So what I'm trying to do, especially now, because I've just lost a load of. There we go. I'm out of missiles now, so
Right,
we're gonna
die.
We're gonna lose a maximum of 3 on any one screen. So you can see it's taken.
Yeah. You don't get any extra bases then. That's it. Once they're out, that's it.
Yeah.
Until you get to. Is there a kill screen?
There is screen 256.
256.
What doesn't happen is the game doesn't end. So basically, the difficulty of the game restarts at that point.
Fantastic.
So what I'm trying to do is to shoot down as many missiles with as few missiles as I can. See there?
Yeah.
I've managed to get 3 in one shot.
Yeah. And how long does it take for you to get a million points on this? Or a world record even? How long does that take?
A million points is about 45-50 minutes.
So that is an average game for you then, is it?
I would.
If you're going to come up and play it, you expect to play about 40 minutes?
I would say so.
Yeah.
My world record score of 4.4 million, so just under 3 hours.
Right, that's incredible. And how do you find that? Do you get totally lost in the game, or do you find it itching to get away from it, go use the toilet or whatever you need to do, have a drink?
No, it's as I said earlier, your adrenaline just sort of keeps pumping, and every screen is completely different. So you find yourself engrossed in the game, or at least I do.
Yeah. Because there's another world record, isn't there? Is it like more of an endurance test? And that is what setting is that, Tony? Is that the
that's the marathon setting.
The marathon
where,
setting. That's right.
Every 10,000 points, you'll get a bonus city.
Yeah.
So once you get good at the game, you can basically just sort of keep playing forever, because all you're looking for is your next 10,000 points to just keep the game going.
Yeah. So it doesn't appeal to you really.
Not really, because then it becomes just a test of, well, how long can I stay awake? How long can I stay awake for? Just sort of keeping up the same strategy.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a lot more sort of knife edge. It's a lot more
skillful.
Life and death. If the game's over, the game's over. There's no sort of coming back. There's no coming back from it.
Yeah. Has your cab been pretty reliable since you?
Yeah, it has actually. Yeah.
No issues.
A few issues on occasion. My Missile Command repair guy is Phil, Iron Giant on the forums. Very good, very reliable, turns things around quickly. He's probably repaired my board, I would say, 2 or 3 times over the years.
Yeah.
But the last repair has been very has been very solid. So it's been absolutely rock solid for the last. I don't know how long. We're in trouble here.
You've got a signature up there on the top of the marquee, is that right?
Yeah. So the guy who wrote the game is a guy called Dave Toyer, and Dave. A lot of the old Atari guys are happy to give interviews, and they will talk about their time at Atari, and they talk about the development of the game. Dave isn't one of those people. He's always sort of stayed in the background, and friend of mine, Paul Drury, and I, we were fortunate enough to send some interview questions to him, which he agreed to for a piece in Retro Gamer. And part of the deal was we just asked him, would you mind if we sent you some stuff, if you could sign it and send it back? And he very graciously was kind enough to do that. So that's signed by Dave Toyer, the guy who designed the game, which is
fantastic. That's a nice touch, isn't it?
Great for me as a fan of the game.
Yeah, I'd love that for.
I don't think Dave's signed too many things, so it's.
I'd love Shigeru Miyamoto to sign my Sheriff.
Nice to have. Yeah, that
would be a nice touch.
That would be cracking.
Yeah, or even Donkey Kong.
That would be good.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a little walk round of all the cabs now.
Okay.
Right, so tell us a little bit about the other cabs that you've got in this room then, Tony. The first one up here is Centipede.
Yeah, so I was obviously, given the weird shape of this room with the slopey roofs, I'm kind of limited in terms of what I can squeeze in. So I was keen to get a couple of cabaret machines for obvious reasons. The footprints narrower, it's a lot smaller, and they can fit under the eaves here. So this is a Centipede that it's not terribly interesting. I simply picked it up on eBay.
So did you do any work to this cab, or as is?
Yeah, I gave it a clean up. It was all working. It was all there. The doors were rusted. This was all rust. This was all rusted out. This was filthy dirty. The trackball was solid and full
so you do a bit of restoration yourself. Then you like getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you can sort of add,
your own touch to it, can't you?
Add your own personal touch.
They're beautiful. I love the artwork of Centipede. It is just fantastic. I've always said that. I love that.
This is repro art, which I bought from the US from I think it was Phoenix Arcade.
Yeah,
pretty sure. Got that from those guys. You can either get this.
So it didn't originally come with that side art. This is an addition. This is your little touch.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can get two versions of this, one with a white background and one with a black. I just thought the black blended in better with the sort of dark laminate.
I know Vic's after one of these, isn't he?
I think everyone's after. Yeah, I've had a few PMs about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game. I must admit, Centipede's not a game I came across often.
It's not a game I enjoyed back in the day, or much enjoy it now.
Yeah, I think it's a great game.
It is.
I think it's cracking.
It is.
Very playable. Nice sort of quick fix shooter.
Yes.
My high, as you can see, is just over 110,000, which is not great compared to some guys. But
I imagine you're quite good, because you're good with the trackball from Missile Command.
That probably helps.
Does that give you an advantage over most people?
Maybe it does psychologically, but I can't get over 100,000. I mean, I've kind of hit my skill barrier on that game. I think.
And then you've got Tempest here.
Yeah, Tempest next to it.
Lovely classic colour monitor, vector monitor.
Yeah.
And again, this has got fantastic artwork, isn't it? Has it got side art on this one?
It has.
It has. You've done the same thing with
it has,
and Centipede.
Yeah, the original films of the side art turned up recently, but they're very, very expensive. So what I did, probably a bit naughtily, but I did it anyway, was I found some high-res.
Oh wow!
I found some high-res art of the upright online, and I got someone to, open it up in Photoshop and resize it to the correct shape. It's different to the original side art, but I think it looks better.
Well, it suits that cab, doesn't it?
In my view, yeah.
It's a lovely piece of artwork on the wall there as well.
Yeah, it's just a shame it's so crammed in that you can't actually see it. Maybe when I get a bigger games room, I'll be able to sort of show the side art.
It's a funny theme, this game, isn't it? How it came about. Funny concept for a game. Unusual. I think there's no other game like it. I mean, some people compare Gyrus to this game because you're sort of going around the screen.
Yep. It was the other thing of note is it was designed and programmed by Dave Toyer, again, the guy who wrote Missile Command.
Yeah.
And I think it came about from a dream where he said he was, these monsters were coming out of a hole in the ground, and that sort of got him.
Wasn't taking LSD, was he?
You'd have to ask him the next one. Couldn't possibly answer that.
Very cool. You've got a nice little neon light up there as well. Games room.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And then we've got another cabaret here, which I used to own. Not this particular one, but very similar, Asteroids. And it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, this cab, as I understand it, has been hoarded around. I think you did own this one.
Yes.
So this was the one with the zigzag scratch in the side.
Oh, did it have a red?
Yes, it did.
No, that was mine then. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
When I picked it up, it had a red bezel on it. I mean,
That was
sake,
Victor, not me.
Was that Vic? Well, my opinion of it's gone down now. I know that.
I actually didn't mind it. I thought it looked quite cool.
I wasn't a fan. As soon as I saw it, I thought that's going to have to go.
Gotta go, yeah.
So Trent Plastics to the rescue.
That's right.
A bit of smoked, proper grey smoked bezel, and
it's such a great game. Now, if you can obviously play deluxe in this as well, can't you? Can you not do like a switch?
I'm pretty sure you can just plug it in, but I think you need to do something with the controls, don't you? I think you've got to swap over
both
a wire
brilliant
or something,
games.
But, yeah, it is. I mean, it'd be nice to have a multi-kit. I think deluxe is a slightly better game.
Yes, and I love the upright with that kind of backlit half mirror. It looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
what a beautiful cabinet.
Yeah. So this has been completely restored again, as you can see, because I managed to get rid of the red.
Did you work it out with a protractor?
For God's sake!
Look at that.
You guys thinking so? So this is new. This is new vinyl on the side with help from John Stoodley. We sanded down what was on there originally because it was all scratched and horrible, and this is now on solid.
It's beautiful,
nice
mate. I just can't believe you've got the angle spot on there. Look at it.
The control panel was resprayed because it was very rusty around the tip, so I was able to mask off this part without having touched that, and that's just been done with hammerite, actually.
Right.
Black hammerite around there.
And this? That's not original, is it?
Yeah, this was on the original. So I masked this off
see what you're saying.
and just sprayed around that because it was kind of rusting around this edge.
Reliable?
It's absolutely rock solid, yeah. The monitor needed recapping, but that was a relatively simple job, and it's been rock solid ever since.
Fantastic game. And you've got a little kickboard at the bottom there. I don't remember having that on there.
Yeah, I think I put that on there.
Yeah, good idea.
Again, which just sort of cleaned it up. And one of my arcade tip is get yourself a black paint pen, and it's literally paint in a pen, and it just covers up all sorts of tiny little grazes. So when I got it, there was a few sort of scuffs and stuff, and you just mark it out, completely disappears. Black paint pen. Go on.
Where'd you get those from?
eBay.
Okay.
And it's paint. In a
actually, I do have a few bits I want to touching up.
Just to touch up.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic.
Hides all sorts of horrors without having to completely
take it all apart and respray it. And then you've got a massive widescreen TV in here, so you do a bit of modern gaming as well?
Yeah, just a bit.
You've got a PS4 there and a PS3?
Got a PS4. I enjoy some of the modern games. I don't enjoy delving into menus and crafting stuff and all that sort of thing. So I'm
a quick fix shoot 'em up, maybe like a third person shoot 'em up.
Sort of fan of the Dooms and first person shooters and stuff like that. So yeah.
Is there any era in between the new and this sort of arcade era, like the consoles, maybe like the Sinclair Spectrum or Super Nintendo? Big fan of those?
I was a Spectrum child
when
I was 14. So my parents bought me a Spectrum. And subsequent to that, I probably own most consoles actually. Mega Drive, SNES, 3DO, Jaguar, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, PlayStation
you've gone
2,
through them all.
Yeah, so I've probably been through them all. But
this is where your love is really the arcade
heart's
stuff.
still in there with the arcades, for sure.
Fantastic. So here we've got a really cute little game in the corner. I recognise this. I used to own this game until recently. I just sold it. It is, of course, Space Fever by Nintendo. And I can remember when you got this and you did a fantastic job of restoring this. And then you just came along, just beat my score, didn't you, overnight, like that easy. You doubled your score, didn't you, over mine? Do you remember that?
I think I did. I think I did.
Just something in you that you just have to beat everybody's score, don't you?
Couldn't help it. You laid down the challenge. Yeah, they're great cabs to work on. They're really solid. You can throw them around, and they're just absolutely bulletproof. Good solid cabs, and I mean, it was actually one of the easier restorations I did.
Yes.
It was just a case of taking it apart, finding a few bits and pieces.
You've got the veneer on there, the iron-on veneer, and you've powder coated it.
Yep.
And what I liked about your restoration is you actually got this colour right of the face plate, which is kind of like an off metal colour.
Yeah,
whereas,
someone did that. I think it was Vic who did the artwork, and I sent it off to, again it was Phoenix Arcade who got it printed off, and the silver came out really, really nice. So
fantastic game, it really is. And then we move round to this corner here, and it's back to Donkey Kong 2.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. So that was probably my first restoration. And as I said earlier, I just wanted to do something different. So rather than just going down the usual route of, let's convert it to a Donkey Kong, I was keen to do something slightly different, but obviously still have the ability to play the Donkey Kong game itself, which you're able to do with the Donkey Kong 2 kit.
That's brilliant, mate. So, is there any games that you're missing that you'd really want? I know you're moving house soon, aren't you? So, you've got plans for the future going forward with your arcade?
Yeah, I've got 3 cabs in the garage actually. So, one of them is what was a Stargate cabaret, which I'm converting to an American Robotron cabaret.
Oh, right.
So I've got my J-Rock board, I've got the stencils,
I've
got all the joystick, I've got everything I need. It's just a bit of time I need and a bit of good weather to just crack on with it.
It's a fast-paced action game, isn't it? I used to own the cocktail version of Robotron, loved it.
Great game,
brilliant game,
absolutely fantastic. So I'm really keen to get on with that. So that's going to be the next new addition. There's another cab in the garage which is a full-size centipede upright. So that's the sort of big tall one, which is in a bit of a state, but it's all fixable. Don't know whether I'll keep that or whether I'll just move that on. Or
just a project.
Already owning that, but yeah, just something to get my teeth into.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, yesterday, and it's still in the boot of the car, I picked up a Universal Cosmic Gorilla.
Oh, fantastic!
In really nice shape for a great price. So,
they're beautiful cabinets, aren't they? Love the artwork on them.
Lovely, an all white cab, which I've never seen before. Even the back of the cab is painted white as opposed to black. Like most of them. So, no idea if it works or not. It's never been plugged in, but it's complete and it's all there. So
nice project. So, is there any Grail cabs you could say, or you've been to Fun Spot a few times? You must have seen a few games there you'd like to add to the list.
I think probably like most collectors, I look at pictures of Trons and E-Dots and Star Wars cockpits and think, it'd be fantastic to own one of those. But I'm quite good at limiting myself, just in terms of you
have to put a lid on it.
This hobby can, if you let it go out of control, can suck an awful lot of money out of your pocket, and I don't really want to do that. And I'm also keen to own cabs that I'm actually going to play.
Yeah.
And I think it's one thing to have the sort of bragging rights of owning, every classic Atari cab from a certain era, but actually, it's just a bit sad unless you own an arcade and and they're all in use. Share these things with everyone else, but just to sort of walk into a room and go, "Oh, lovely! I've got all of these cabs, but
none of them work. Can't get to any of them.
Half of them aren't going to work. And even if they are all working, you're never going to play them all.
No.
Sadly, a lot of the really good-looking cabs actually house crap games in my view. So I'm not a fan of the Tron arcade machine. So I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars arcade. So I think
for some people it's more nostalgia, isn't it? I think a lot of these games appealed to you as a kid, didn't they? Because obviously the film came out, you wanted to be part of the film, you were acting out the film within the game.
Right.
So you have that nostalgia, don't you, with Star Wars? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, to be honest with you, as a game, but I can understand why people have that connection with it.
Yeah.
Same with Tron. It's not a great game, but the cab looks great, and probably some people have a connection with it, don't they?
Yeah, so, I think for me, the finances come into it. So, don't get me wrong, if I stumbled across a Tron in a barn, and the guy wants 50 quid for it, I'm all over it, because clearly it's an iconic cab and it's very
because you went to an auction fairly recently, didn't you? And I'm surprised that went for quite a bit, didn't it? That cab in there. What was that? Was that Donkey Kong?
No, that was a Space Invader.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Taito Space Invader. That went for a lot of money. So, and this is one of the problems of the hobby, is the prices of cabs are just going up and up and up and up.
But that's with
people
console games and everything. Everyone's just holding on to the stuff.
Yeah. So don't expect to pick up a nice looking Tron for less than £1,500, £2,000, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to sort of drop that kind of money on a cab anymore. Really.
What about pinballs? Fancy a pinball?
I'd love a pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love a pinball. Space has always been an issue, really.
Yeah.
But again, you see, the thing with pinballs is it's a whole new thing to learn, which on the one hand is sort of quite appealing, but again, it's like I would hate to buy a pinball and then for it to break down and look at it and go, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start. That would be pretty depressing. But again,
it's just time and money again.
Pinball. If you want the desirable pinballs that everyone else wants, you're going to be playing top.
Well, they're making quite good modern ones now, aren't they? And they're becoming quite popular, and obviously that reflects in the price.
Are they though?
What?
Are they though?
What, popular?
It's a whole another subject, I think.
Oh, is it?
Modern pinball.
Right, okay.
I'm not a fan of the modern Stern pinballs.
Right.
I don't like the way they play. I don't like the plastics they use. I don't like the feel of them. I like the early 80s.
Right. Is it more the speed you think they've got over the older ones, maybe?
It could be.
That people are more in
tune
tune
with?
with?
I mean, for me, when I'm playing a modern Stern, it's just a sort of slap fest. You're just kind of slapping the ball up. I don't really feel like I'm in control of the game, like I can go for particular shots. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just hopeless at pinball. But I'm not a big fan of the modern Stern pinballs. Yeah,
I'm not a pinball fan. I like pinballs, but I'm not. I didn't play them back in the day, so I don't have any much real connection with them. I can never find a theme and a game to match. That are both as good as each other.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So again, they take up a lot of space as well, don't they?
Yeah. So maybe at some point in the future, I might investigate the world of pinball.
When you get your arcade sorted.
I enjoy Pinball Arcade on the PS4, which I know will probably upset a lot of the purists, but to be able to go back and play, a version of these pinballs that I used to play as I was a kid, and they're all there in one menu, and it's a couple of quid to download a table as opposed to $2,500 to buy the same physical nature table. It's not the same.
No, it's much more appealing, isn't it? Yeah.
It isn't the same, but it keeps my pinball urges, I think, in check for now. So.
Fantastic. Well, Tony, thanks very much for letting us into your house and showing us around your arcade. It's been absolutely brilliant, mate.
And, you missed one out, Alex. Actually.
What's that? What do they call this? The Dino City, is it?
This was a Dinosaur King.
Dinosaur King, that's right.
So when I picked it up, it was empty. It just had a monitor on it and all the old Sega wiring in. And if you go to my blog, which is arcadeblogger.com, you can see the restoration process that I went through with a lot of these cabs. So this one, we basically took the artwork off, got some new artwork from our good friend Muddy Music, and rebuilt the control panel, put new buttons on, stuck MAME in it. So I'm able to play.
The kids love this, don't they?
Yeah, it's just the right height for them. You need to be sitting on a stool to play.
So what have you got? 16 or is it MAME in there?
It's MAME.
Oh, MAME. Okay.
Yeah. So that's quite good. So it's nice to drop in and remove games as they come across. But you can get a pretty good game of Pac-Man out of it.
Brought a couple of these to Revival last year. I think he'd done one in sort of Midnight Resistance, was it? Sure, he'd done like a themed cab.
Yep.
And it looked absolutely amazing, and it went down really well. People loved it. But, fantastic, mate. I love this sofa as well. I need a sofa like this for my room. I've got a really uncomfortable bench at the moment. But yeah, it's fantastic. You've got a little Vectrex in the corner as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic little bit of kit.
Yeah, if I'd have thought about it actually, along these eaves behind here is all storage, and I've got pretty much all my old consoles in there. So there's old stuff in there.
Ah,
and
so I was
stuff
hoping
which
to see all that.
maybe next time when I can
Yeah,
be bothered to drag all
definitely,
the
mate.
boxes out, we can.
So you've still got your Sinclair Spectrum, have you? And yeah.
I haven't got my Spectrum, but I've got an old grandstand console that I owned when I was a kid, and there's some Mega Drive stuff and Mega CD stuff in there, and 3D
Nintendo
bits and
stuff,
pieces.
maybe.
There might be some Nintendo stuff.
Ooh, like that.
I'll have to dig it out next time.
Well, fantastic, mate. Thank you very much for sharing this brilliant room with me and the rest of our viewers.
It's a pleasure, actually. It's kind of nice for me to get it documented down on film because we're moving house in about a month, so this will all be gone, and I'll move on to a new games room. So
a new design.
A new design, having a think about what to do. So I went for the stripes in this one. So I might have a think about something different for the new one. But when I've done that, you'll have to come round.
Definitely, mate. I look forward to that. Well, thanks very much, Tony. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Alex. Cheers, guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, guys. I had a fantastic time, and I just want to say a big thank you to Tony for making me welcome in his house and giving me the opportunity to film his arcade, because I think it was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it, mate. I had a fantastic time. So, yeah, if you want to go and check out Tony's got a really cool arcade blog called thearcadeblogger.com. I'll put a link in the video below. Go and check that out. It's got some cool concept art on there. It's obviously got his world record, and it's got some other arcade pickup stories which are quite fun. So I'll put a link in the video below. Go and check that out. So that's number 1 of my on the road arcade tours. I've got plenty more to come this year. And in fact, I'm going to do another one in a couple of weeks' time, so I can't wait to do that as well. So I'm off to the arcade club this weekend as part of my birthday treat. I can't wait for that. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Thank you very much.